shit. Alright, man. I'm fucking sick and tired of this shit. People are really talking shit about Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Like, damn, the movie wasn't bad. It really wasn't bad. So I don't understand. And for me personally, I was tired when I watched it, and it was the same for me when I watched Black Panther 2 as well. But I felt like watching this movie, I was more engaged than when I was with Black Panther 2. When I was watching Black Panther 2, I was watching it, obviously. I never really fell asleep, but it was one of those films for me on the first watch where I could have potentially fallen asleep watching. This movie, I was worried potentially about the same thing, because from the trailers that I saw, I was excited going into this movie. But of course, how this always happens now when new movies come out, you start seeing articles and different people's videos talking about, oh, this movie was trash or blah, 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 or this movie's getting bad reviews. Me personally, when I go into watching movies, I don't ever really look at the reviews or anything like that, unless it's something I'm just unfamiliar with personally. So for this, I didn't look up any reviews or anything like that. I just wanted to go into the movie like how I always did when I was younger, back when I was in high school and it was Marvel Phase 1 or Phase 2. I just wanted to watch the movie. I know this movie's coming out. I know I'm excited for this movie. Let me go watch and see how it is. And from watching the movie, I enjoyed it for the most part. I enjoyed the majority of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, or Ant-Man 3. That's what I would call it, Ant-Man 3. That's really, really wordy. Like, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. 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 Okay, maybe it's not that hard to say, but then it's a little bit wordy. So I'm just call it Ant-Man 3. Yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. Going into it, I was excited, like I already said. And I think, because this is going to be my non-spoiler review, I'm going to use this review as a way to kind of combat the negative reviews that might be out there. But also, I'm still going to try to stay somewhat objective. So let's talk about what's bad about this movie. Bad is subjective. I'll say bad is subjective because at this point with the Marvel movies, they're not ever going to make a film where everything is just completely fresh and you're just learning everything for the first time. Unless it's a movie like Shang-Chi or The Eternals, something that we haven't gotten before and it's their first film. At this point, this is the third Ant-Man film. So going into it, you need to have seen Ant-Man 1, Ant-Man and the Wasp, aka Ant-Man 2, Endgame, Loki. Dang, am I forgetting anything else? Let me think. I think that's a good chunk of what you should have already seen prior to watching this movie, so you can understand it. There's some points here in the film where, at least from the Endgame aspect going into the quantum realm, this movie's called Quantumania because it explores the quantum realm a lot more. That's not really a spoiler. If you've seen the trailers, you know that that's what it's about. There's no spoiler there with that. As far as watching the Loki TV show pretty much opens up the concept of multiverses and variants, which are essentially the multiverse version of yourself in another universe. So, say we're in Earth 1, right? And then there's an Earth 2 version of me. That Earth 2 version of me is a variant. So, that show kind of gets into that. And it also introduces Kang in that TV show. So Kang's not really a new character unless you're just now seeing Ant-Man 3 for the first time. So they introduce Kang there. It definitely gets teased that there are other Kangs in that TV show. And therefore, we get Kang the Conqueror in this movie. This is almost inherent now when you see every single Marvel film moving forward. I mean, every single Marvel film in general. You have to see the other films to understand what's going on. Sucks for some people who are new to this, but it just is what it is. Me personally, I don't think that's a bad thing. Does it suck for some people? Yeah, but I don't know. That's just my experience. I'm speaking from my experience. So I say that's something that was bad about the film. I think at some points in the film, the CGI isn't the most consistent, but for the most part, it doesn't really bother me. One last thing for me. A specific character in the movie is very familiar with the quantum realm, but they're not really doing anything to help and try to explain stuff. And I was talking to my cousin yesterday about the movie, and I'm like, yo, you know, like, bruh, people just fought Thanos like not too long ago. Let them know about this specific character and let them know what's going on. And I'm sorry, I don't know if that's a spoiler or not, but yeah, so that was really a very annoying part of the film. And I knew it's such an old, I don't want to say an old concept, but it's been done before in other movies. And because of that, I already knew it was going to happen. I knew exactly how they were going to do it. And I think it's stupid when movies do that. Like, why? That's the most basic for something like Marvel. Okay, this is a critique of mine. For a big movie franchise like the MCU, at this point, there shouldn't be basic stuff like that let it be holding the movie back or holding the plot back or whatever. It shouldn't be like that, in my opinion. Yes. Oh, one last thing. I'm about to get back to that. It's Ant-Man, bro. Ant-Man is always very a simple film, in my opinion. It's really the family film, super basic, but like basic in the sense of it's not as grandiose as other MCU films. It's much more grounded, where this movie wasn't. But back to that. Yes, this specific character, like, that's one of my critiques with this film, because it's so many other ways that could be written, like how that happened. At this point right now, I haven't really watched. I've only seen one review on Ant-Man, which kind of prompted me to do this review, because I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna let people talk shit about this movie that I really actually enjoyed. Even if they do, at least okay, let me take that back. Let me scale that back. If people are going to talk shit about a movie that I like and I disagree with what they're saying, it's going to prompt me to make a video, which is why I made a video, which is why this is going to be a video, essentially. So yeah, that specific part right there, it's one of my critiques. You can't do something like that could have been written better, in my opinion. I would have even preferred some of the stuff that was mentioned when they were in the quantum realm and just certain stuff. I would have preferred to see it and not just have certain things prolonged and all that stuff. In my opinion, that's just me personally. I didn't like that. One more thing. One more thing that could potentially be bad in the future. If Marvel moving forward still continues to make TV shows off of one aspect of a movie that we saw that people didn't ask for, in my opinion, TV shows that most likely could potentially get another season or so, when it doesn't even need to be seasons. It could just be a limited series, like we get this on this and that's it. I'm worried that they're gonna do a TV show about the quantum realm. I'm very worried that they're gonna do that. That's not. I'm saying that's a potentially bad thing that I'm worried about. And maybe that's something I could talk about after I get into what was good about this movie and how things look like in the MCU moving forward. But that's how I feel right now. I wanted to mention that right now. I really hope they don't, because it's not that the quantum realm wasn't interesting or the movie in itself wasn't entertaining. But it's just certain stuff you just leave for the movie. And if you really want people to get into it, just make a freaking comic book about it. Y'all have done it before, just do that. Don't have really much else to talk about. But yeah, y'all let me know in the comment section down below. What do you guys think? Also, if you enjoyed this review, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more.